Hey parents, I'm Brian and welcome back to the DadLife. Last month, the largest trade show for baby and kid products called the ABC Kids Expo happened in Las Vegas. It's kind of like the CES show for kid products, basically. And while I didn't go, I have been hearing reports about what were the popular new releases that were launched or shown there, and some of the big players like UPPAbaby, Nuna, Lalo, and others usually reveal new offerings there, and I'm always interested to see what people gravitate towards because usually there's something unique about those products. This year, after doing some research, I came across the Babba baby bottle, which is one of the most unique and innovative tech products that I've seen in a while in the baby product space. At first, it looks like a standard baby bottle warmer, like all of these. And these clearly state that they only warm up milk, but the Babba is different because it also cools milk down, which is pretty interesting if you think about it. Feel free to do your own research, but this is the only product that I've been able to find that can cool down and warm up milk within the same product. Typically, you have to bring two different products with you if you're on the go, a milk warmer like these or a milk cooler like one of these, which I've done plenty of reviews on. This takes up a lot of space, and I'm always looking for ways to streamline what we need to bring with us, and something like this basically combines two large products into one. Supposedly. I got one of these and put it to the test. I'll be honest with you, when I first opened it up, I was skeptical how well this would work because when you're the first one on the market, there's not a lot of other proof around you, a lot of reviews, and so it can kind of go two ways. It can either work really well or it can be a dud. So stick around and see how well this works when I get to the results in a few minutes. First things first, the unboxing was pretty standard for a modern tech product. It was nicely packaged, and it comes with a bottom housing which has the cooling and heating mechanism, and a bottle that screws onto the housing which holds the milk. A collar and a few nipples that you can use which have different flow rates which are denoted by the number of pinholes on the top of each nipple. I thought this was a nice touch just in case you wanted to use this as your primary feeding bottle. Otherwise, you could pour the milk into your own bottle after it's warmed up, just like you would with any other warmer, or chilled and use the nipples that your little one is used to. Getting this set up was fairly self-explanatory and simple, where you just pour milk into the bottle, you screw the housing onto the bottle, and then flip the whole thing over. There's a note in the instructions to make sure that the gasket is fully seated to make sure to avoid any leaks, so that was the only thing that I needed to be a little bit more careful about. Then I downloaded the Babba mobile app, created an account, and then paired it automatically with the device. At first I was expecting a normal pairing process where I would have to select the device and manually pair it, but I'm pretty sure that this is using Bluetooth Low Energy, which basically allows for a more seamless pairing process, so it's even easier. Then I had the options to either start the warming or cooling process. So before I get into the results, I think the real reason that this is such an innovative product is because of the technology that's being used inside of this device, which allows it to both cool and warm. I know it might seem kind of simple or common sense, like, isn't that normal? Not really. If you think about an oven or a refrigerator, these products only do one or the other. They don't do both. The challenge is, how do you use electricity to cool something down and heat something up with the same component in a small package? The Babba bottle uses what is called the Peltier Effect, and I confirmed this after speaking with Dan, the CEO of Babba. It's a really cool technology that has been used in consumer products like physical therapy recovery devices that can heat up or cool down muscles, but it hasn't been used in a baby product as far as I know. And this is a really cool application of that tech. Basically, there's a Peltier module that uses thermoelectric energy to either heat up or cool down the module by switching the direction of the electric current. I know it's super nerdy, but basically allows you to combine both of these products, this one here and this one, into one, and that's pretty cool. So this little tiny module is connected to a stainless steel plate, and that plate will either get warm or cold depending on the Peltier module, and since the milk is upside down in the bottle, it will also get warm or cold as it contacts that plate. One of the first things I noticed about the bottle was that it is a stainless steel, vacuum sealed bottle, very similar to what you would see in a Stanley or a Yeti bottle that you might have, so it feels like a premium product right from the start. And it feels good. When I was chatting with Dan, he mentioned that they tried to use plastic or glass bottles first, like other baby bottle warmers do, but those materials dissipate heat very quickly. So the best way to insulate the milk and keep the milk cool or warm was to move to a highly insulated bottle. The only potential downside for this that I can tell is that you can't really see how much fluid is left inside of the bottle once you're using it, like a clear bottle can. But their way to address this was by adding quantity markers on the inside of the bottle, just like you would see on a standard baby bottle. I'm actually not sure if it's even possible to create a clear window on a stainless steel bottle like this, but maybe that's something that the Babba team can think about. The nipples are specific to this bottle, and it comes with 4 different nipple types with different flow rates designated by the little pinholes at the top. I have to be honest that the first time I looked at them, I couldn't tell what the flow rates were because the holes are kind of small. But once I figured it out, it does make sense. It's the same way that the Como Tomo nipples work also, where they have different number of holes for different flow rates. For the warming cycle, I just had to select warm on the mobile app, and you can also press the button on the device to start this process too. After 3 minutes and 12 seconds, the unit beeped, letting me know that it was done. Since this unit needed to be flipped upside down in order to create a seal against the Peltier module, I wasn't able to stick a thermocouple inside of the bottle to measure real-time temperature readings of the milk. So once it was done, I measured the temperature of the milk, and I was glad to see that it was consistently under a 104 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the max temperature recommended by the CDC to prevent degradation of nutrients in breast milk. The only downside to this was that there really wasn't an indication on either the product or the app telling me how much time was left or what the temperature of the milk inside of the bottle was as it was heating up. So it might just be me, but I think it might be helpful to have. Alright, so now the flip side, cooling it down. After I let the milk cool down to about 98 degrees Fahrenheit, which is approximately the temperature that milk is when it's freshly expressed from the body, I then started the cool mode. One thing that Dan mentioned to me was that the CDC guidelines are based off of refrigerating the milk under 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and the assumption is that we've all accepted that putting freshly expressed milk, which is warm, into the fridge is something that we're comfortable doing. So in order to extend the battery life of the product when you're on the go, this product is designed to cool down faster than a refrigerator will, which makes sense to me. It's just not as fast as, let's say, the Mom Cozy milk cooler, for example. I was originally thinking that refrigerators seem like they cool milk down pretty quickly, but after doing some tests, I realized that it takes about 8 hours for my fridge to cool down milk in an 8-ounce bottle from 98 degrees Fahrenheit to under 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the Babba milk cooler takes about 6 hours to get from 98 degrees Fahrenheit to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And after 7 hours, it gets to a minimum temperature of about 33 degrees Fahrenheit, which is good. So this means that if I just leave the milk in cool mode, it'll stay refrigerated at 33 degrees Fahrenheit until the battery runs out, or if I unplug this from the wall and then the battery runs out. So that's pretty good. If you compare this with other bottle warmers or coolers, most bottle warmers will warm up milk in about 3 to 5 minutes, so the Babba performs along with the best of those warmers. From a traditional cooler perspective, like the Sarah's Chill, the Hey Trip, or Mom Cozy coolers, these can keep milk cold as long as you continue to refreeze the ice packs or add more ice cubes into the bottles. And this just means you need access to either ice or a freezer. The nice thing with the Babba is that you only need access to a power source. My feedback around seeing a live temperature reading on the app is the same for the cooling mode, because that would help me have confidence that the milk is actually getting cold and staying cold, since there really isn't any other indication of that. Speaking of charging, you can charge up the unit and then take it with you on the go. The product fits into standard side pockets on bags for bottles, in all of our diaper bags at least, and since the cooling mode takes a lot longer than the warming mode, if you plan to cool your milk for a long time, let's say over 6 hours, then I would recommend plugging it into the wall so that it just extends the battery life just in case. So is this right for you? There are a few scenarios to think about which may help you decide if it's best for you. If you're looking for a more compact solution that streamlines what you bring on the go, then this one really could work for you. If you typically pump more than 8 ounces a day or before you can get to a refrigerator or freezer to store your milk, then you may want to choose one of the traditional milk coolers like the Ceres, which can hold up to 34 ounces, or the Momcozy, which can store up to 22 ounces, because those can just store a lot more volume. Now, my wife was also telling me that this could have been very helpful for her in the middle of the night if she could use this for nighttime feedings, where she could keep cold milk in the bottle next to her, and then when the baby started to stir or get hungry, she could just turn over, start the warm cycle, and then the milk would be ready in 3 minutes. This means that she wouldn't have to get out of bed, go downstairs to thaw up or warm up milk, and then come back upstairs to feed the baby, or even me doing that work. She also said that this could help with nighttime pumping sessions where she could simply pour the milk into the bottle and then after that turn it into cool mode and then go back to bed. Then in the morning she could then move all of that into the fridge or the freezer, and this would have saved her from having to transfer the milk into the cooler bag and then go downstairs to refrigerate it in the middle of the night. Alright, is this a perfect product? Not yet, and that's okay. I don't think the first version of any product is necessarily perfect, but I think there are 2 relatively simple things that Babba can do to make this product experience even better. The first is to just see if there's a way to add embossed numbers on the nipples so it's easier to identify the flow rate of those nipples. I believe that this should be possible by creating an interchangeable insert in the middle tool, which has a number etched in it so that the nipple will be molded with that number, or even stamped. This should be a relatively inexpensive option, and this will really help you and me figure out which nipple is which flow rate. I guess this suggestion would also apply to Komotoma as well, so there's some free advice for you. I would also love to see something on the app that shows the time remaining for either cycle so I know what to expect. Sometimes I might want to stop the cycle early if my little one needs their milk faster, so I'd like to see how much time is remaining and maybe also the temperature of the milk, or both. What I've done here, just for my own self, is created some designs that show what the 2 modes might look like if I were designing this. And what I'm going to show here is the warming mode, and there's a real-time temperature reading and a timer showing how much time is left before it gets warm. And then you can toggle to the cooling mode and you'll also see a live temperature reading, and then when it gets down below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, again, which is considered refrigerated by the CDC, the status will then change to show that the milk is now refrigerated. If the Babba team is seeing this, feel free to use these ideas as inspiration if you want. I also have the code if you're interested. So is this the most innovative baby product of the year? If it isn't, I'd say it's at least in the top 5, because I haven't seen anything like this yet, and it definitely solves problems that we have as parents with a really cool technology. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you want to check one of these out, I'll leave the links below, and you might even get a small discount depending on when you see this. Also, I know that most of you watching aren't subscribed yet, and I'd love for you to join our crew, so hit the like button and the subscribe button before you leave, and I'll see you next time on the Dad Life.